so I'm gonna be that person talking to myself on a camera in the woods. So the other day, somebody asked me how ADHD impacts me as an adult, and hilariously, I completely blanked. I had no idea how to answer the question. I was just like, oh god, do I have it? Why am I medicated? I didn't know, but I've been thinking about it. And let me show you one of the reasons ADHD is such a problem. So, this is a trail, fun little trail. Kind of hard, but fun. ADHD messes with your, spatial awareness and your ability to orient yourself. So, if there wasn't this handy-dandy trail sign, I came from Lime Kiln, this way, I would have absolutely no idea how to get back where I started from. And if I got confused enough and I stood here long enough, I might even go back the way I came, because it just does things to your head. It makes it hard to figure out where you've been and where you're trying to go. I thought this was metal, but it's just a weird tree. Yeah, one of the many, many things ADHD does. I need to get a selfie stick. While I'm thinking about it, because I want to see if I can film as much of this as possible on the trail, ADHD, from a neurological standpoint, is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It means it happens in utero, although childhood abuse and brain damage can also mimic ADHD, because it does the same kind of things to your brain. So what ADHD is a smaller prefrontal cortex, which is the bit of your brain that handles impulse control and emotional management and all the stuff that kind of lets you function in society as a normal person. And that's a problem, because a smaller prefrontal cortex means your brain can't quite manage everything the way it's supposed to. So you're going to be more impulsive simply because your prefrontal cortex isn't big enough to, keep you in line. You're going to be more driven towards things that give you a dopamine release. So you're going to do things that are fun for you, or, might look more reckless for other people, or you might play games instead of doing your homework, because the homework doesn't give you the dopamine release, but the gaming does, and you need dopamine. You have to have dopamine to function. Emotional dysregulation is also an ADHD thing. It's you react out of proportion with what's going on. So you face a little bit of stress and you break down crying, which could also be having poor coping mechanisms. You have a little inconvenience and you react explosively with anger. It's just being a little bit much all the way around, which is really hard to deal with, and it's really upsetting. And emotional dysregulation is a massive, massive, massive problem with ADHD, because it impacts everything, all facets of your life. And when you're very interest-driven and you're very novelty-driven, which is a hallmark of ADHD, things like relationships tend to fall apart. Jobs tend to fall apart. Places you live tend to stop being interesting. You're always looking for something new. You're always I can't eat the same food day after day after day. I was supposed to be doing, not a bodybuilding diet, kind of like a fat cutting, muscle building diet thing in August, and I was supposed to eat basically the same thing day after day after day, and I made it 4 days. I couldn't do it. The food literally stopped tasting like food, because I needed something different. I always thought it was weird that I don't have any favorite anything really, except the color green. I like green pretty much across the board. But favorite food, favorite color, favorite movie, favorite place, favorite anything, favorite song, nothing stays interesting forever. Everything loses its novelty. Everything has to be replaced with something new. So I just thought it was just weird. Alright. I'm waiting for people to get out of earshot because I feel really silly talking to myself on a trail. But whatever. Another ADHD thing that's really common with autism diagnosis in women, I think it's actually diagnostic criteria for autism, is not being feminine. And that sounds really weird, but bear with me. It's less about not being a woman, and more about not picking up on all those implied social cues on following trends, or even knowing what the trends are, or wearing clothes that flatter your body for whatever reason, or wearing makeup, or knowing how to do makeup well, or even caring about makeup or clothes or whatever. And that tied in with a lot of sensory issues like tags, or my aunt can't wear anything that's not cotton really, because it just it's like nails on a chalkboard for her entire body. It's hard for women with ADHD, and I don't know why this is exactly. It's kind of hard to Google, so I haven't been able to find much information on it. But it's like all those implied social rules you don't notice. You don't like have that, I don't know, antenna in your brain that picks up on those silent signals from other people that says, hey, do your hair like this, or wear pants like that, or like bell bottoms are totally out. You don't have that. So you wear whatever you like, you wear whatever you're comfortable with, and you stand out. And you look funny, and you don't fit in, and you feel like you're on the outside because you don't get all these things that look super easy for other women. And it's not because you're not womanly, you know, it's just that if that's not a hyperfixation for you, or hyperfocus, or an interest, because ADHD is very interest driven in your brain, you're just not going to care. You're not going to do anything with it because you don't care. It's not important to you. It's not something you have to do to, like, have worth on the social scale. Even though, honestly, in a neurotypical world, you're still being measured on that scale, you just don't know or care, or even if you want to, you might not be able to figure out how to measure up on that scale because it doesn't make sense to you. Like, how to wear makeup, or what clothes are trendy, or whatever. Like, none of it's important. And it's pretty arbitrary. So that's an ADHD thing I struggled with for a long time, is always feeling on the outside because I didn't know how to fit in. Not that I ever could fit in, even if I'd been able to fake it, because that's another struggle. But yeah, not feeling like you're woman enough, or you're feminine enough, or you're doing things the way women are supposed to, that is actually diagnostic criteria for autism, which is comorbid with ADHD in a lot of cases. And misdiagnosed as ADHD, and ADHD is misdiagnosed as autism, and it's, at least when it's not diagnosed as anxiety or depression or BPD or some other stupid shit that it's not, because that's another ADHD problem, is, especially for women, is not being diagnosed with the right thing, because women don't usually trigger that little, like, alarm bell in a psychologist or psychiatrist to go, I wonder if this is the hyperactive little white boy disorder.